All right, let's just jump right in. We all go through life dealing with this huge, messy world of feelings, right? But for most of us, there was never a class on how to actually handle them. It's kind of like being handed a really complex gadget with zero instructions. So today, we're going to fix that. We are going to build the emotional playbook you probably wish you'd gotten a long time ago.
Seriously, just imagine that for a second. What if learning how to manage stress or cope with sadness was just as important as math or science class? I mean, life would probably be a whole lot smoother, wouldn't it? Well, the great news is it's absolutely never too late to learn these skills. And let me tell you, getting a handle on them can be a total game changer.
Okay, so here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we'll dig into why this is such a crucial lesson that most of us just never got taught. Then, we're going to dive into the most important first step, awareness. After that, we'll start stocking up your mental toolkit with some really practical strategies. We'll also talk about building a solid support system, and finally, we'll cover when it's actually a sign of strength to ask for help.
So yeah, even though these skills weren't on the school syllabus, they are absolutely fundamental to, just getting through our daily lives and navigating our relationships. Learning to regulate your emotions, it isn't about pushing them down or ignoring them. No way. It's about understanding them and then guiding them so they don't end up running the show. It's all about creating a life that feels more joyful, more fulfilling.
And that brings us to our first, and honestly, probably the most important step of all. Before you can manage anything, you have to actually notice it, right? You can't manage what you don't see. So many of us just go around feeling good or bad, but the real power, that comes from getting specific. Awareness, you guys, is the key that unlocks absolutely everything else.
And this is where things get really interesting. We tend to think in these really broad terms, right? I feel happy, I feel sad, I'm angry. But the research shows our emotional world is so much richer than that. Get this, scientists have mapped out at least 27 distinct categories of emotion. I mean, think about it. There's a huge difference between feeling disappointed versus feeling regret, or feeling relief versus feeling pure joy. Naming that specific feeling is your first move, because you can't really tackle a problem if you don't know exactly what it is.
So how do we actually do this? How do we build that awareness? Well, it's a pretty straightforward 3-step process. First up, listen. Like really listen. Tune into what your body's telling you, what your thoughts are doing. Is your heart racing? Are you stuck replaying some conversation in your head? Step 2, give that feeling a name. Put a label on it. And step 3, and this one is so important, just acknowledge it. Just let it be there for a second, without judging yourself for feeling that way. Things like journaling or a little bit of mindfulness can be a huge help with this.
Okay, so once you're aware of what you're feeling, now you can open up that mental toolkit we talked about. And again, this isn't about magically making feelings vanish. It's about actively working with them in a healthy way. So let's look at a few really powerful tools you can literally start using today. First up is a real game changer. It's called cognitive reappraisal. I know it sounds super technical, but it's really just about flipping the script. It's the conscious choice to change how you're looking at a situation, which then changes your emotional response to it. It's all about finding a different, and usually more helpful, story to tell yourself. And this is a perfect example of how that works in real life. You see, on one side, you can view a setback as a total failure, which, just leads to frustration and disappointment. Or, on the other side, you can reframe that exact same setback as an opportunity to grow. And when you do that, you build resilience and you actually reduce your stress. It's the same event, but a completely different emotional outcome. That is the power of perspective.
But of course, sometimes you just gotta get the feeling out. Bottling things up, that is just not a great long-term plan. So finding healthy outlets is key. Maybe that's journaling. Maybe it's just talking it out with a friend you trust. Or maybe it's getting creative, throwing on some music and dancing or painting something. The point is, releasing that emotional energy is absolutely vital.
So we've got these internal tools for our toolkit. But here's the thing. Emotional regulation doesn't happen in a vacuum. We're not just, brains in a jar thinking our way through stuff. We're physical beings and we're deeply connected to other people. The health of our bodies and the strength of our relationships, that's the foundation for our emotional resilience.
And this is just so important. We are social creatures, through and through. Having people in your corner, having those supportive relationships, it acts like a powerful buffer against stress. I mean, study after study shows that strong social networks are tied to lower rates of depression and anxiety. Just sharing what you're going through with people who get it. That validation and perspective can be incredibly calming. And we absolutely cannot forget the mind-body connection. Your physical health and your emotional health are completely linked. Think about it. Regular exercise releases those feel-good endorphins. Getting enough sleep is crucial for your brain to function at its best, and even super simple things, like taking a few deep breaths, can trigger your body's natural relaxation response and just calm you right down.
All right, and finally, let's talk about something that's really, really important. Even with the best toolkit and the best support system, sometimes emotions can just feel like too much to handle on our own. And in those moments, reaching out for professional help isn't a sign of weakness. It's not a failure. It is an incredibly courageous and smart thing to do.
So the big takeaway here is this: there is absolutely zero shame in asking for help. Therapists, counselors, these are trained professionals. It's their job to give you personalized strategies and tools that are tailored just for you. They can help you work through those really tough emotions and build an even stronger foundation for the future.
Whew, we've covered a lot of ground today, from awareness all the way to taking action. So I want to leave you with this question. It doesn't have to be some huge, dramatic change. Maybe it's just pausing to take 5 deep breaths. Or maybe it's just naming one specific feeling you have today. Or maybe it's just shooting a text to a friend. What's one small step you'll take today to start building your own emotional playbook?